final major project, I'll be doing a radio drama. The brief that I'm following says I have to include a good use of sound effects and at least 2 relatable young characters, no adult themes, so no sex, no violence and no drugs and stuff, and a realistic environment. The idea that I've chosen is going to be set in a college, which is as realistic as you can get. It has to include positivity, so there's nothing depressing, no death, and no negative situations. It says there may be a narrator. I'm going to include a narrator because that'll be the main character's job. They're going to guide the listeners throughout the radio drama, and hopefully be finished by the 10th of June. I first thought up of 2 ideas, and the first idea was about a girl who's wrongly accused of stealing, and the second idea is about an undercover investigator who goes to a mental institute to figure out what's wrong there, and I got told that both ideas were either too boring or too depressing, so I had to completely scrap those ideas. And I thought of 3 new ones, and they're more positive this time. The first idea was travelling abroad, which is going to be like a audio version of a travel guide, and it's going to follow a young person's travel across different countries, and I was going to use different sound effects to create the environment that they're in. So yeah. Idea 2, surviving a day in college, is the idea I've chosen, and it's about the narrator, the main character, who's sort of guiding the listeners through how to sort of survive college. So it's going to be treated like a wildlife documentary type thing. And idea 3, which I couldn't really think of a proper name for, so I called it Sparkles the Pill, is about a teenager who's been introduced to a weird, unnamed drug that causes them to hallucinate their wildest, craziest dreams. And they get hooked on it, and they decide to abuse it, basically. I did a survey and asked the participants to pick which idea they preferred, and idea 2 was the most popular, which is one of the reasons why I picked it as my final idea. The good points of idea 1 is that it's interesting, it's different and unique, and it's like a way of transporting the listener to a place that they've never been before without actually seeing the place. Idea 2, again, it's different and it's relatable, so the target audience I'm aiming at will be able to understand what the character's going through, and it makes the reality of not being able to socialise at college properly less depressing. It's also relatable. People in the audience that I'm aiming at are at the age where they tend to party and take drugs and experiment and stuff, and it's never been tried before, and I just thought that the tripping moments within the radio drama would be really interesting to try and put together, because they get transported to space and different planets and stuff. Yeah, so I chose surviving a day in college as my final idea because it's not challenging compared to that of travelling abroad and Sparkles the Pill. And it's easier to sort of get inspiration because I'm at college, and the characters that are in it are going to be played by those who are in college as well, so they'll be used to what they're doing, what they're saying. Target audience. Radio is actually more popular with those aged 35 to 54, according to Ofcom, which is kind of weird because my target audience is going to be those from 16 to 21. So, yeah. So I'm going to try and incorporate things into the radio drama that would attract a younger audience rather than those who are old. I did a focus group, and from the focus group I got that the age group they said would be tweens, like older than tweens, from tweens to like late teens, and this is because those in college are normally like 16 plus, and they'll understand what it's like to be in college. I think both genders would be attracted to this because both boys and girls sometimes struggle with socialising and getting work done at college, and not really bullying, but making friends and stuff. The race would the majority of people would be white because there's more white people in this college, and from personal experiences there's more white people, and white people tend to listen to the radio more. The audience category would be C1 and E, because C1 they'll have the time to listen to it, and E are all the students, the college students that would understand and be drawn to this type of topic. Unfortunately, the focus group was cut short and it missed out the 5th and 6th question, but I can guess that the sexuality would be straight, and the radio station would be Radio 4 because there's no other radio stations that really do radio dramas. Competitors, I found that Final Runes was my key competitor because they're also targeted towards younger audience, as you can see by their use of SoundCloud and how they use that to distribute their content. And SoundCloud is mostly used by younger people who are familiar with the internet and technology. I should probably play it. It's not gonna work.
You might need to copy and paste the link into Internet Explorer.
Sorry.
Everybody would, don't you know it's me?
That's not the link I copied. What the hell?
The world as we knew it fell apart.
Whoa, hey, Bobby, what's going on? Bobby!
Now what's left hangs in the balance.
The earthquake has awakened the mighty weapon.
3 teens have found themselves the last ones standing in a struggle against 2 madmen intent on oblivion. But they have learned the world is more terrible than they can comprehend, and a horror beyond the grasp of man may be their only hope.
You have a device in there that taps into another dimension and allows you to hear dead people?
I'm not saying that. I didn't say that.
This is Season 3 of The Cleansed, the acclaimed apocalyptic saga by Final Rune Productions. Available now at thecleansed.com and iTunes. Search for The Cleansed. New episodes released each month through July 2016. Listen now, before the end is here.
You do not make up the rules! I am the wolf! I make up the rules!
Yeah, that's basically an example. I've also looked at something similar, but it's not a radio drama, and it's based. I mean, it's not based. It's aimed at a younger audience, and I found that it's very similar to the type of idea that I'm trying to do as a radio drama. So, yeah. And I've also decided that I'll distribute this on SoundCloud and YouTube because they both gather more attention, and younger people seem to go on YouTube and SoundCloud a lot these days. My cast is these 4 people. The reason I chose them is because they have different voices, so you can distinguish which person's which, because it's a radio drama and you won't be seeing the people. And I thought it'd be easier if they had different types of voices to be different people. Those aren't the actual characters I'll be playing, because I might change them, but yeah. For the crew, I'll be everything that's staff and crew, and the actors that I'm hiring will be the lead actresses and extras. There will be bathrooms, eating areas, and phone areas that aren't in the studio because that might disrupt the recording, and of course there'll be power supply. The budget, I've worked out that it would be 483, I think, pounds per person, and that's including the rehearsals as well, which is going to be on the first session at the beginning, and together that would be £1,352. And for hiring the studio, it would cost £320 to hire it for the amount of time that I need it for, which is basically 4 hours. So my overall budget would be £1,672. Any questions?
So, what exactly is gonna, like, what's the actual narrative to the radio drama? I know it's a sort of surviving a day in college, but what is it that they have to survive? What is it that they go through?
Well, it's going to be exaggerated, so it's going to be treated as if every encounter is going to be like a wild animal. So, yeah, it's going to be over the top to make it less dreary compared to what it's actually like in real life.
Is there any particular things that they're going to overcome, or that's going to happen in any particular event?
There's going to be certain groups of people that treat the character differently, and that's going to affect like how they react to who they're talking to and how they're feeling.
Any other
I've got a question. Is it a comedy or is it like serious?
It's a comedy.
So is it, this might be a stupid question, but is it one person's journey through college and how people are treating them?
Yeah.
Is it like a group of people?
It's just one person,
Just one person.
and how they see the world, basically.
Okay.
Are you going to hear the person's thoughts as well as the voice, or?
Yeah, because they're narrating, and then
Yeah.
they're going to be like talking to the people they're talking to. So it's going to be like the way they're reacting to the person and how they're feeling inside.
Yeah. How are you going to show, because obviously because you don't have visuals, how are you going to make it clear to the listener what's being thought and what's being...
I was going to sort of make her thoughts like echoey.
Okay, any other questions?
How long is it going to be?
5 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, all done.